Hey girl, hey. Hey boys, hey. Welcome back to my channel. It is Mama Beauties here, and I am saying welcome to all of you new folks out there. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, because tonight we have something special, and every Saturday night we have something special, and we share a survivor story, okay? And what a survivor story is your story. It is somebody that comes on the channel and decides to share what they have overcome. They share either domestic violence or addiction or a medical mishap that has happened to them. They share lots of different things. And this is a place where we do not hate. We participate, we articulate, we speculate. And if you don't act right, we'll have to regulate. And it is a place that we can agree to disagree, but you do have to agree to disagree. You can't just flat out disagree and call it agreeing to disagree. So she will be coming on shortly. Also, if there is anyone that would like to share what they have overcome, we have an opening next Saturday and the Saturday after that and the Saturday after that. So you guys just message me and let me know that you want to come on, and you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. If you don't even want people to hear your voice, you can type it out and I will read it. And if you want to give me a fake name, you can even come up with a fake name and I'll say, this is so-and-so's survivor story. I'll read it to the chat, and then you'll have all this advice in the chat that you can watch and no one will even know it's you. So you don't have to come on the platform to share a survivor story as well. You can actually write it out and I will read it anonymously and say it is from whatever name you tell me to say it's from. But there are people that come on and they will just hear their voice and not do their face. So whatever you want, it's totally up to you. We don't go over it before. We let you share on the platform. I am learning with you guys. I don't know what people are sharing until we're here and we're actually sharing. And it really is healing. I learned that from sharing lots of my deep stuff on this channel, and you guys were supportive and you brought me through it and I survived, and I felt refreshed on the other side of it. I felt like I had closure, and it was really, really good healing process. So I highly recommend it to people. Hi everyone. I did delete my last Harley video, you guys, because I feel like I'm not getting all the information out that I want to. So what I'm doing is compiling it all together, and I'm going to upload a video, and then you'll be able to chat and say whatever you feel in the comment section of that video. And I'll do a live about the comments so we can go over the comments and we can all talk together about what we think. But I want to get the video up so I can give you the two cases that the coroner was questioned about. There was another case of a kid, she said, that committed suicide, and come to find out his family thinks that it was a homicide. So then there was the case with the guy beaten up in the prison, and she said it was seizures, and the family felt like it was because he got beat up. So I wanted to share that with you. I also wanted to share the news coverage where they said that there was no signs of dehydration. And then when the news reporter asked, hey, how did you guys get led to that house? He dances around the question and he says things like, well, we finally got search warrants for social media and devices, and so we were able to regroup. That's how he answered that question. And I want to show that video. I also want to filter out all the stuff that I was reading that is nonsense that we don't even need, that's not helping the case any. Also, I've gotten permission to just read out Brandy's screenshots as well. So I'm going to read that. Brandy has put together a pretty amazing on-point timeline. And I want to share that with you, her timeline and how she thinks everything went down. We have some other theories that we'd like to share, but we want to get the private investigator ball rolling. So that will be Monday night if these negligence petition that is out doesn't get something done by Monday afternoon. So hopefully it will. It'll be just easier if I make a video and upload it because I personally don't get distracted by chat, and it isn't anything to do with you guys. It has everything to do with me. So if I make the video and then we come on and we talk about the video and I read the comments that the video got over live and answer them directly instead of on the video, then I think that will be quite interesting chat. Hi, Stardust. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Marie. Or May. Oh, I wish I knew how to say that. Myri. Myri, maybe. Welcome, everyone. I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Adrienne. This is someone I have actually personally met, and she is a pretty strong lady, and I cannot wait for her to share her journey with you guys. Let me just make sure she hasn't messaged me. And don't forget that you can come on the channel and share as well anytime. We do Survivor Saturday, and this is where we all uplift each other. Hey, Save Robbie. Hi, Chronic. Love on that baby for us. We know it's the birthday. Happy birthday, baby girl. Hi, Laura. Canada. Yeah, we covered the story on Holly the other day. Very interesting missing persons case from Canada. Save Robbie, I actually have matched your rival in subscribers. I went over there just to look to see if her subscribers have went up, and I realized that we both have the exact same amount. Your nemesis, or whatever you want to call her. But anyway, we are getting ready for that Lifetime movie, you guys. I said I wasn't even going to watch that Lifetime movie because I didn't think it would be good, but it's about the Watts case, and I'm just very interested in seeing it because I caught the trailer on it, and I saw the gentleman that is acting or portraying himself as Mr. Chris Putz, and he does a pretty good job. He must have actually watched him over and over because he is replicating him really well. And I'm interested in watching that tonight. Yes, tonight on Lifetime. Hopefully I can keep my son from needing a thousand things beforehand. I'm going to try to get him all stocked up before the movie comes on. But we do have commercials, so that helps. Yay. I wonder what the Reels channel is all about, Ashley. Is it like a docudrama? I think Colorado is 3 hours behind me. We're getting it at 8 p.m. We're getting it 2 hours from now. We're going to watch it from 8 to 10. Oh, well, he is good. He is really good because I wasn't even going to watch that movie. I don't like Lifetime movies anymore. They've gotten way too melodramatic. And so I just watched the True Crime channel. Hold on, baby. Go get your stuff that you need from in there or what you had on before. And the actual actor that you're talking about, Save Robbie, is the reason why I'm going to watch it. The way he presented himself in that trailer, I was like, wow, this is creepy. It's almost like watching Chris Watts again. It's 4 p.m. in Denver, so I was wrong. We're only 2 hours ahead of you guys. It's 6 p.m. here in North Carolina, and it's coming on at 8 p.m. The Friend Speaks on Reels. Okay. Gotcha. I'm sorry about your Wi-Fi, soul sister. Yeah, I can't watch Lifetime too much. I might as well go watch the Investigation Discovery channel because those are real life dramas that they're trying to act out with budget actors. It's 11 p.m. in the UK. Wow, it's late. The real show is for Eastern 7 to 9. The movie and reels overlap. Ooh, they're making you pick. Catch that. I'm going to try to sit still long enough to watch it. Hopefully I can. So, and don't worry, happy-go-lucky. Somebody will have it on YouTube at some point. I mean, pretty shortly after. People do that for views. And for those of you that are new, I don't put ads on my videos because unless they're about, myself or, something that's not tragic. I have never, ever, ever since I started my channel monetized a crime or a tragedy of any form whatsoever. I've actually spoke to people that are very close to some of the cases that I cover, and I don't even report what they're saying on the channel because I take personal relationships more serious than just getting somebody on my channel so I can get more subscribers. That's just not who I'm about. You're picking? Oh, that's sweet. See, Jersey Angel is recording. She knows what's up. All right, my girl Adrienne is here. Let me bring her in. Okay, let me make sure that she wanted her camera on. Did you want camera on? All right, let me just add her.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Hey, girl.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, this is Adrienne, everyone. And she is our
Hello.
Survivor story tonight. Take it away,
Yep.
girl.
Hey guys, I'm Adrienne. I'm a recovering addict, and I'm not too far into recovery this time, but I'm doing a lot better than I was before. But I've got some interesting survival stories to tell you. So I was into addiction for on and off about 3 years with one and several years with another drug. But the last 3 years for me have been really, really hard. I started using in 2017 and quit for a little while and then got back into it at the end of 2017. And then I got hit with a drug charge in May of 2018. Got that cleared, but I got clean for about close to 4 months in 2018. Relapsed, went back into it, and then January 2019 was when things really got bad for me. I ended up going to a dealer's house, and I was accused of stealing something that I didn't even know existed until I was till I was getting severely punished for what I didn't know existed, till I was accused of being stealing of it. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, guys.
It's okay. Take your time. Wow.
Yeah. They said I stole a tablet and a camera and a phone and 2 days prior, when I apparently stole it, I was best friends with these guys. I mean, I was crying with one of them for one reason, and the other one, we were talking about tattoo work. I was giving him some of the stuff out of my tattoo kit for free, but 2 days later, they begged me to come up there because I had left one of my tattoo ink bottles up at their house. And I kind of felt like something was up. I even actually said to one of the girls, like, this kind of feels really off. It feels like a setup. Like, you never push me this hard to get up there. What's going on? I got accused of being paranoid and out of my mind and just weird. But I ended up taking another acquaintance up there with me, and that acquaintance ended up getting called out to go and help somebody with some breaker work because the lights kept going on and off, quote unquote. And the second that guy's feet hit the floor outside, the door got locked behind him. And I was standing on one side of a camper, and there were 5 people in the camper with me. And I was standing there, and it was dead silent, and that was weird. But the main guy,
were they addicts too?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Every one of them. Yeah. And the main guy, I'm not going to say names, but the main guy started talking about how he hated a liar and he hated a thief. And I looked up and realized that he was looking at me when he said that. And I was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And he accused me of stealing this phone and this laptop or this tablet and this camera. And he said that one of the other guys was the one that saw me do it, that was there in the camper at the same time. And I looked at the other guy, and knowing that 2 days prior, something completely different happened, and this guy knew it. I looked at him. I said, "What are you talking about? Well, you know I didn't take that." And he said, "Are you calling me a liar?" And I was like, "No, because I mean I'm trapped in a camper 5 against 1 right now, you know." So
and
I was
he
like,
probably took it. He probably took it.
That's exactly what happened. They found out about a month and a half later that he was the one that took it.
Okay, go ahead. So you're standing there trapped.
Yeah, I'm trapped 5 against 1. And so I was like, nope, I'm not saying you're a liar. Like, and I had no weapon, no kind of defense whatsoever. So that guy gets up and starts to come after me. And the other guy that's initially started it, saying that he hated a liar and a thief, was like, are you calling my brother a liar? And I said, no, I'm not. And in 3 steps, he had me on the ground with a 38 to my head. And he in that moment probably hit me at least 10 to 15 times with that pistol, with the barrel, like not the pistol grip, with the barrel on the ground. And I don't know why, but he let me up. The other guy that had walked outside ended up coming back in, and I ran and ducked behind him, and that guy came in and hit me over the shoulder, or hit me over the other guy's shoulder with the gun more. The one that initially did the accusing, the one that actually did the stealing, took my phone that night, like in all of that. All of my personal possessions were stolen that night. At one point, the guy that had the pistol looked at me. He said he was in the Army, but further investigation said that was not the case. He was just a coward with a gun. But he looked at me and he said, you know, when I was in the Army and I was doing all those profilings for the criminals, you know, they acted a lot like you. And me with the big mouth looked at him dead in the eye and said, what? Look you in the eye and tell you they didn't do it? And that insinuated about 30 more hits to the head with that gun. And then, yeah. And at this point, it's pretty hard for me to even get up and walk. Like I'm struggling. And then in the middle of that, he told one of the girls that was in that camper, his words exactly were, "Let her down." So she beat me, broke my glasses that I had at the time. And I don't know why it stopped for a few minutes, but it stopped for a few minutes, and I'm just laying against the ground bleeding. And it's the first time I really talk about this entire story. Like,
take your time. Take your time. We're here for you. You're doing great, girl.
But they started talking about wanting to go, like, get dinner or cooking dinner in the camper. And while they were talking about that, they were like, "What are we going to do with her?" And you know, they said things like, "We're going to tie her up and put her in her trunk. We're going to tie her up, put her in her trunk, and then put a rock on her gas pedal and let it go off the mountain. How about we put her under the camper while we eat?" um, things like that. But then they started talking about how the girl needed to go out and do some running. Now, to give you a little bit of background with these guys, I was a driver when I was an addict, when I was in active addiction. To get my fix, I drove.
Right.
I drove people to make sales. I drove people to, and I hope this isn't incriminating.
No, it's not. It's not. You're fine.
No, I know I need to share it because it might deter somebody else from doing the same thing. But that's how I got what I wanted, so I drove for these guys. Well, this girl apparently had my keys. I didn't even know she had my keys, but she had my keys and was talking about wanting to do a bunch of running around. She had to go to her grandmother's house and pick up some of her stuff and her dogs and whatever. And in the meantime, I got beat again with a pistol. I can't even remember why, but I probably got hit at least 40 to 50 times with the gun. But wow. I don't know how. I guess the one guy that I ducked behind earlier in the night convinced this girl to let me come with them on these runs instead of tying me up and putting me in my trunk or under the camper or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I stood up to go out with these people, and the guy that actually did the stealing walked up and he grabbed me by the back of my hair. I had my hair in a ponytail. He grabbed me by my ponytail and he put his cheek against mine and he said, if I ever hear my name come out of your mouth, I'll bury you and your daughter. And he threw me out the door by my hair. And I got in the back seat of my own car. And while I was, bleeding and not able to talk, not able to really function, because I was absolutely terrified and I was hurt and
probably had a concussion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, or probably multiple. Yeah. For the next 8 hours, I was held hostage in my own back seat. Any move I made, the girl that had my keys, she was the one driving. Any move I made, she pulled that 38 over her shoulder. Yeah, and they made multiple stops. Like they stopped at somebody, and at this point, I'm so out of my head, I can't even see what's going on. When she broke my glasses, I can't see anyway. So when she broke my glasses, like I couldn't see where we were going. I couldn't, and it was in the dead of night. Yeah. It was in the dead of night too. I couldn't see what roads we were on or road signs or anything. So, but I know we stopped at somebody's house and she picked up a bunch of stuff and her dogs ended up in the back seat with me. And no, I'm a dog person, but when it comes to,
I know what you mean. You've been through hell at this point.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And she's tearing, and not only that, but to add insult to injury, she's tearing my clutch up. She has no idea how to drive this clutch. So I can smell it burning. I can every move she makes, it just grinds every gear. So, and at that point I had been kicked out of my house. So my car was all I had left. It was all I had. I was living out of my car.
So, which a lot of addicts do. We get to that point.
Right. So my car was all I had left. And I was at this point internally panicking because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have my phone. Like I said, any move I made, that gun came back out. And eventually, for some reason, I fell asleep. Probably the concussion, or just so out of it that your brain has a way of protecting itself from injury, from shock, from all kinds of stuff. So
true.
I think that I fell asleep to avoid any further trauma.
To shut it down.
Yeah. So I fell asleep. And next thing I know, the guy that I ducked behind, he hits me on my shoulder and he says, "Hey, are you ready to go?" And I wake up and there's nobody in the driver's seat and my keys are in the ignition. No glasses, flew out of my back seat into my front seat and hit reverse. I didn't even know where I was. I didn't even know where I was backing out of, but it was
your free shot out.
Yeah. So I hit reverse and then I look behind me. I'm like, oh, that's a really big hill. Okay. I know where I'm at now. I was at the original guy's house that beat me. So
Mm.
I back down this hill and I fly out of there. Fly out of there. I don't know how I managed to get home. I really don't remember the drive. But I ended up dropping that other guy off. Like, I don't know why. You get in these states where you don't really know what you're doing. And
At that
and
point, you just were doing what you were told because you were afraid of
right,
any recourse if you
right,
didn't. It's like explain Stockholm syndrome and stuff like
right,
that. You just do what you're told in those situations.
right, right. So that happened on January 20th, 2019. So I just had the 1 year anniversary of that last week. And then for some stupid reason, I stayed in active addiction, as addicts do. You'd think that something that hard hitting would knock you down, but no. I just wanted more drugs to numb that.
Yeah,
No,
I was about to say it would send most people deeper because you want to numb that. You don't want to
Yep,
deal with what trauma you just experienced.
yep, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I went and for another 2 weeks, I was out in active addiction, and one I ended up at one guy's house who was trying his hardest to do everything he could except give me what I was asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Kept me there for like all night, and then he pops up with, "Hey, these people know where you are," and I was like, "How would they know where I'm at? Like, I have no Wi-Fi here. I haven't been able to message anybody here. Like, what are you talking about?" And he
Mm-hmm.
shows me these text messages that he's been getting from that girl, and I was like, "Oh, wait a second. There's messages missing here. Like, it says, hey, I don't know what you're talking about."
He deleted his.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Mm-hmm.
like one of the messages says, "Take her phone in her car. It's essential that you do that." Like, yeah. So I hightailed it out of there.
Wow.
And then about a week later, I was at somebody else's house in still in active addiction, and people started showing up, and certain names started getting thrown around, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Something's going on. I don't like the way that, like, they tried to trap me in a bedroom, and I was like, nope. And I was like, I was like really casual about it. I just like one item at a time, put one thing of mine in my bag, and talking to people, like acting like I don't know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner of the house is the only one that had a vehicle. And I said, dude, you got to get me home right now. I said, I know who's coming. I know who's getting ready to show up at this house. And he's like, no, you're safe here. You're good with me. Nobody's going to mess with you when you're at my house. I'm like, no, you need to get me out of here now before you can't.
Right.
So we walk outside. My hand hits the truck door handle. And the guy that beat me with a pistol pulls up. I was like, start the truck. We got to go. Start the truck. We got to go right now. We got to go. So he takes me to my mom's house.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. And I walked in my mom's house and I was like, Mom, you got to take me to detox right now. Right now. If I don't go to detox right now, somebody's going to come be able to get me. Like, this is the second time that they've found me. And I have to do something about this,
Good for you.
Yeah. Well, so I was in detox from February 5th through the 13th. Managed to stay clean for about 2 weeks. Relapsed again, ended up getting found again, but I went back to detox on March 22nd. I was in detox March 22nd through April 9th, and then I went to rehab from April 9th to April 30th, and I made it to 98 days, then relapsed again, because that's what we do as addicts, But now I'm 2 hours away from all of that. Nobody knows really from my hometown where I'm at, except for the really important people.
Good.
I've been going to NA regularly. I started going to church when I got here in December.
Girl.
Yeah, and I haven't been to church in a long time.
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, I go to church every Sunday. There's a group at my church
proud of you.
that meets on Tuesday. It's a recovery meeting that I go to almost every Tuesday with them.
Is it Celebrate Recovery?
No, but it's a program very, very similar.
I love it. Love it. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm at 98 days today.
Congratulations, sister.
Thank you.
You look good.
I'm working towards staying that way. I mean, getting away from everything. And I got a job. I started my job Wednesday. And I mean, like, I'm one step at a time, one day at a time. I'm working my way towards being free of all of that, you know?
And you will be. You
Yeah.
will be. I know you will.
Yeah.
I just see your passion behind it, and you've shared your story. So you've made yourself accountable. So
Yeah.
now if you go back, the whole world's going to look at you like, what?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
the biggest step, is making yourself accountable to the world. Because as addicts, we hide all those details and we keep them to ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just so proud of you, girl.
Well, one of the steps in a 12-step program is, you know, we admit to ourselves, to God, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And I've got a lot more than that to tell, but that's just one of them. That's just one of my stories. And you know, I knew that at some point I was going to have to do this, and I was going to have to be able to come clean about that stuff, because while yes, those people are not good human beings, and me admitting that my wrong in the situation will never take away their wrong in the situation. I know that if I had not been doing what I was doing there, it never would have happened. You know?
Wow.
So I'm willing to admit the fact that if I had not been there doing drugs, looking for more drugs, keeping a contact, that would never have happened to me, you know? So, and I know that being able to say this out loud, I don't care if it's one person. If I help one person today, I've done my job. You know?
That's awesome. And you showed us all acceptance and accountability, which is something that a lot of addicts don't even when they do change and they have 98 days, they don't want to accept what they've done or be accountable for what they've done. And I know that this will last. This is a change that will last a long time, because you have went those extra steps.
Well, and I know a lot of people, even if addiction isn't in their history, I know a lot of people that say this happened to me, or that happened at me, or it's always someone else's responsibility. And now I've still got a lot of work to do. I'm no martyr. I'm no better than anybody else. But the second that you start accepting your part in those things, the second that you can kind of start the real work, which is the road to forgiveness, which I'm just now starting. You know, you get to kind of start disconnecting from the shame and reevaluating what you can do from here, you know.
Awesome.
But until you accept it, there's nothing you're going to be able to do for yourself. If you keep blaming the world for what happened, and you can't take responsibility for what you've been in part of anything that's happened, then you got a lot of work to do, you know. So.
That's absolutely right. Yep. The world does not happen to punish us for our behaviors. Sometimes the world happens because of our behaviors.
Right.
So, but what happened to you had nothing to do necessarily with your behavior. It had something to do with your addiction, yes, but you didn't do anything to deserve that. That's for sure.
No, you're right. You're right. I believe that wholeheartedly, because I mean, I've done a lot of stupid things. You know, I've done a lot of really awful things. I've hurt people. I really have. But I don't believe in my heart that I've ever done anything bad enough to deserve that.
No.
But once again, if I had not been there with the drugs, it never would have happened.
Yeah.
You know,
addiction takes us down some dark, ugly roads.
Yep.
And I'm glad that you shared that, because there could be somebody right now that's around some sketchy group and they hear them whispering behind their back. And, you know, the addiction starts getting everybody paranoid, and there's nobody you can trust in a bunch of addicts, because everybody's looking over their shoulder at the next person.
Right. And, you know, there's a couple of quotes that come to my mind. Like my mom said at one point, there's never an honest drug addict. It's true. It's true. There's never an honest drug addict. And then the other thing you were saying, people talking behind your back, like that is the one thing that I'm finding out where I'm at now, is that sometimes my PTSD kind of gets the best of me, and I start looking over my shoulder just because something will happen in the day that'll remind me of those kinds of situations. But for the
Right.
most part, I'm not looking over my shoulder at who's going to come screw me over. I'm not
That's
looking
good.
over my shoulder at who's going to come hurt me or accuse me of things or whatever it might be. I'm finding this freedom in that, and finding this freedom in being clean and
Yeah.
being responsible and accountable. And I'm finding friends who are like real, honest people
I love
who
that.
I have not had in a long time. Like
Yeah.
this couple that took me in, like they are absolutely incredible. Like one of them, he was one of my old military buddies, and I just happened to reconnect with him this last Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up coming and spending Thanksgiving with him because I was 2 hours away from home, And ever since then, we've been friends. And then something blew up in December where I was living. And they ended up, like, they're an hour away from where I was living, but they just happened to be 20 minutes away when this crap blew up. And they came and picked me up that day. Right? But,
Right.
like, these people are just, they're godsends. They really are. They have shown me a real family dynamic that I have never, ever seen.
And trust. Sounds like you trust them.
I do. Yes. I do.
And you haven't trusted in a long time.
No. And they show me with their family dynamic and towards me this love, unconditional, even when mistakes are made or whatever. There's just this unconditional love and acceptance. And they're hard hitters. If I screw up, they're telling me I screw up, which is what I need. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are real friends.
Right, exactly. Like fake friends will cherry coat and tell you what you want to hear, and But real friends are the ones that'll have the real tough conversations with you.
That's right.
So that's what they've been doing, and they have helped me grow. They have helped me realize some potential that I had forgotten about myself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. They're helping me out with some transportation until I get my car up and running again. Because that night, that girl burning my clutch out, she burned my clutch out. I have no vehicle because she burned my clutch out. Yeah. So, but like the job that I got, like some of the family these people work at, so I have transportation to this job every day. And
that's great.
Yeah, they are incredible human beings, and they're really opening me up to a world of trust that I've not known in years.
And that's one thing I've noticed.
People.
Right?
Yeah.
That's one thing I've noticed, Adrienne, is that when I look back at all my relapses and I look back at all my failures, I never had a strong support system. Mm-hmm. Whenever I tried to quit, or stop behaving that way. I didn't have a support system, but every time I've had a strong support system, I succeeded in whether it was kicking addiction, getting out of domestic violence, getting through grief. It's always been a strong support system that got me on the other side of it. And I'm a firm believer in people need that.
Yeah. And on top of that, you also have to disconnect yourself from everything toxic.
Absolutely.
Everything. And when you're in the beginning of recovery, or if you're at the end of your road with active addiction, you have this weird hope, this weird belief that somebody out there in that circle is going to be there for you. Somebody out there is your real friend. But they're not. They're really not. I had to break ties with family members.
Me too.
That not necessarily aided in my addiction, but aided in toxicity in my life that I needed to get rid of. So I had to break ties with real blood. Mm-hmm. I had to break ties with people that I knew before drugs, who I reconnected with in drugs. I had to, block, delete. Mm-hmm. I have not, like I said, I have not told very many people where I'm at. I don't even want to give them the satisfaction of a hello, because I know myself. I know that if I open that door, I'm opening the door for a reason.
It's detrimental to your sobriety.
Right.
It's detrimental to your sobriety.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I've had other using acquaintances that I've missed, like that I wasn't friends with on Facebook anymore, that have shot me a message because I didn't block them, whatever, that I haven't talked to in years. And it like they pop up on my home screen. I'm like, no, I don't need you. Like block. I don't like.
Well, I have noticed that even if you try to keep the door open, because I've gotten those calls too, and when I told them I don't have a pill, they like forget about me. It's like they cut ties. I don't even have to cut ties. They're like, oh, well, I'm not even going to find out how you're doing. I'm never going to call you again. Anymore. Yeah,
you're not useful anymore. Yep. And those are people like I said, like the people that you knew before active addiction that you just happen to like find in active addiction. Those are the people that you're like disappointed about. You're like, wait a second, what is this? Like we were friends before, and now that I don't have what you want, now all of a sudden I don't matter.
Exactly.
But that just goes to show what addiction does to your brain. Your addiction changes your brain entirely. It breaks your character down from anything that you ever used to know. You turn into something completely different. It's a monster. It is a monster.
You have to build yourself back up to where you used to be. You like start from scratch.
And a lot of people say that, but I have come to the belief that I'm not meant to be what I used to be. I'm meant to be something bigger. Because what I came from before the drugs was I had an addict parent who was absent a lot. And my early school career was awful. My first suicide attempt was in 7th grade. Yeah. So, I mean, what I came from was a broken soul. I mean, I never really had a lot of confidence in school, and I never really had a lot of confidence coming out into the real world after I graduated. And I built this facade for the world to see. It was fake. It was, I'm going to look big and bad. I'm not.
I thought you were.
No, I'm a total, utter coward. No, I'm not afraid to admit that. But I put that facade on so that the world would leave me alone. I didn't want anybody close enough to hurt me. I didn't want anybody close enough to tear me down, because I'd already had enough of that. So I don't want to be that again. I want to find out who I am without all of that. I want to find out who I am on my own, without the stigma of the drug charge.
No scarlet letter.
Yeah.
The scarlet letter on your neck. You want to be bigger and better than the person that you were going to be before drugs. Even like you were on a track before drugs, and now that drugs have made you stronger and you've overcame it, you can accomplish way more than what the non-drug addict was wanting to do.
Right. Because I mean, and a lot of people are like, how have you lived 32 years and made it through that much hell? Because I have walked hell. I more than once I've walked through some hell, but I'm not the only one. And I've got work to do. I'm still here for a reason. I still struggle with some religion stuff, but I'm learning every day what it means. I'm learning every day the value of church and the value of reading the Bible and the value of just meeting other people in the church, So I survived.
I would have never expected that. I would have never expected that.
Right? Yeah.
I just want the subscribers to know that. This is like serious, inspiring stuff, because I could have swore you were atheist before.
And a lot of people think that, but I was actually I called myself omni-religious, which was I found truth in all religion. And that's one of the reasons why I'm still kind of struggling with going with the religion right now, because I mean, now I'm at this crossroads, like, well, was I wrong the whole time I was thinking that? Or
maybe there's some middle ground,
right.
Maybe there's some middle ground. So
right. you
I
know.
think that church is everywhere, that you don't need four walls for
Right,
church, that church is
right.
in the streets, and that as
Well,
long as
it says the kingdom of God is within you. That
exactly.
you are, you know,
Uh-huh.
So,
And you can take your money and do good with it, and it's the
yep,
same thing as putting it in the offering plate at church.
right, right. But I mean, I really am eons beyond where I have been in recovery in the past.
So
And
proud.
yeah, well, and like I said, I still got a lot of work to do to disconnect from some of the shame that I've got. And I still got a lot of work to do with forgiving myself. That's the real work. That's the real work. Like everybody, I go to recovery meetings all the time, and they're like, we want you to have what we have, and I'm like, yeah, and I want what you have too, but I gotta start with that really tough line. Like I gotta forgive
Yes.
myself. Like, how am I gonna
That's
do that?
hard. It's hard. It's hard. And
Right.
the mommy
Yeah.
guilt will drive you insane. So
Yep.
you have to
Yep.
learn to let those things go too. And so
Yeah.
it's a slow process. It really
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
some people can just jump out there and be done with it. For some people, it's not a slow process.
Yeah.
But for some of us, we can only handle a little change a day.
Yep. Yep.
So
That's exactly where I'm at right now. Like, I've got people like friends. They're like, "What are you doing in March?" I'm like, "I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, dude." Like, no, like I can't make plans that far ahead because
right.
I don't want to set myself up for failure
Right.
by planning that far ahead, or
Mhm.
I want to take it one day at a time, one step
Live
at a
in the
time.
moment. Live in the
Yeah,
moment.
right, right. And I missed a
Hold
lot of
on.
time with my little girl. I was with, I was out in the drug world, and I was leaving her behind, and I have a lot of shame involved with that. And
I
being two
know.
hours away, like she's back where in my hometown, and being 2 hours away from her is really, really tough because that shame kicks in sometimes, and it's like, well, you're still wasting time, you're still missing time. Like I wake up some days and I'm like, man, another day gone that I've missed of her life. So I have to keep reminding myself that what I'm
You
doing
got
right
a
now
job.
is
You
not
got
wasted
a
time.
job.
Huh?
So you got a job. You got a
Yeah.
job. So
Right.
you're already on the
Right.
path. You're doing
Right.
good. Don't beat yourself
Well,
up.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like I have to remind myself that what I'm doing right now is not wasted time. What I'm doing right now is the work that I have to do to get her back in my life in a healthy, happy way. Until I do that work, it's not going to be anything important, and it's going to, the more time that passes, the better that I get, the better that I become for her. And the more I see that it's the life that we're going to have together is going to be that much more meaningful,
That's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true. And
Yeah.
the healthier, happier mom, they always say, I've been told this my whole life, that my kids can't be happy unless I am. So
Yeah.
that's what you're
Yeah.
doing. You're doing the work to get yourself to that happy place
Right.
where they are thriving.
Right.
Hold on one
And not
second.
only
I'm
that.
speaking on All right, hold on. He wants to say hi. Speaking of children. Jello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Your
You're
phone's
good?
put away. I'll give it to you in a minute. Okay, tell them bye. Bye. All right. Come on. Okay, bye.
But
And you're not, definitely one thing I want to say to you is you're not a coward. You're probably one of the strongest women I know to go through that and then come on this platform and share it. And I just want you to know that you're a lot stronger than you think you are.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I have a tough time with that. I really do. But the other thing about children is we teach them what life is supposed to be about. We teach them how to be good, responsible, respectable beings on this planet. And if I'm not good, respectable, and responsible, how is she gonna grow up? And
Right.
I definitely don't want her to go through anything that I went through. I don't want her to see Now I can't protect her from the world. The world is a dangerous place. The world is a cruel place. But what I can do is show her how not to be a cruel being in a cruel world. She can
I
be the
love that.
light. Yeah, she can be the light in
Yeah.
somebody's life. You know,
Yes,
but
girl.
I have to fill my own life and my own heart, my own head with that light in order for her to become a light for someone else.
Reflect it.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll reflect it and she'll see it. Well, people are in the chat say day by day, but sometimes, well, this is my friend Chronic and I love her to death. Day by day, but sometimes even hour by hour. The smaller you break it down and stand strong through that hour, the stronger a foundation. Wow.
Yeah.
Someone else said, so proud of you, super mom, super woman. And then Brandy says she does that with her illness too. You can only go one day at a time.
Yep.
Oh. And someone else said, most definitely not a coward. You are a very strong woman and you have the support of a lot of great people. God first, then all things will fall into place. God is good. Ooh. I like it.
Yeah.
Someone else said, I love hearing recovery stories. Mama, you're doing great things for people and giving your subs a voice on your platform. Yes, and it's not me. This is our channel, you guys. It's every survivor story that is possibly touching one person, then we all are doing something right.
Right. And, you know, I encourage other recovering addicts or people that just have any story to tell, whether it's addicts or trauma recovery or whatever it might be, sexual abuse. I mean, I've got some of that in my history too. You know, I know, God knows, I was terrified walking into this, but I know what it's like to have that fear of coming out and speaking those words into the universe. I know that fear, but you know, I encourage other people to do the same thing because it's like getting a weight off your shoulders. It's like it's a release. It's a release. You know, you don't have to keep that stuff pent up anymore. You don't have to keep it inside your head because I know what it's like to have that hell in your head. It tears you down every single day. And if you get it out, you'll start to build a support system because you'll find other people that went through similar things or that went through something else entirely, but you connect with other human beings who have been through hell as well, their own hell, you know, and you start kind of finding friends who can build you up because I mean, this world, without our own problems, this world has a very, very serious problem with tearing people down. And what we need to be doing is building each other up.
Yep. And who would ever thought that sharing would do that? Like it blew my mind when I shared something deep and dark on this channel. Afterwards, I was like, whew, that's kind of addicting. I was like, I'm almost done with that. I like shook that off and I was like, I'm sharing something else.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's like emotionally throwing up and feeling better.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And we had to wait
it's like word vomit.
our 30s and 40s to figure this out. Like most people that are closed off growing up, they don't know these things. Because we kept everything bottled up before. We don't know what a release it is to share.
And not only that, but like when you're growing up, you're taught what normalcy is. You know, so if you have just you know, hypothetically, if you have an abusive father, if you have an addict parent, or if you grew up in a foster care system or whatever, that's normal for you. You don't think anything's wrong. You don't think anything's different. You think that that's just everyday life. And then you find out when you grow up, wait a second, that's not normal. That's not right. That's not healthy. And you have to find a way to come out of that. Because if you don't come out of that, you feed into the vicious cycle and it starts all over. Whether you become an addict yourself or whether you become abusive, even if it's not to your children, you can be abusive to other people without even realizing you're doing it. You can be verbally abusive or attacking and not even realize how impactful your words are on someone else. So once you come to the realization that that's not a normal way to grow up, you can start doing the work, because that's this is all great, accepting and sharing and whatnot, but what any recovering person has to understand is there's a lot of work that goes into healing, growing, becoming who you're supposed to be. But you can't let those experiences bring you down. You can't let those experiences turn you into something just as cruel, just as awful, just as painful, and you can't let it kill you. You can't let it kill you, because if you can't change that cycle for yourself, it can kill you. It really can kill you, whether by your own hand or by something or someone else. It can kill you. And if you're willing to put in the work, God knows that there is so much more out there for you.
Yep. And it's easier. It's easier to be mean. It's easier to be in active addiction. It's easier to stay in domestic violence. It's easier to continue to be negative and ugly and confrontational to people. It's hard to be good, you guys.
Yeah.
It is so hard, but it's so rewarding, because that adrenaline that you used to get from your heart going all the time, and you being on the defense, and you ready to bounce back, and you got it, all that goes away. Like,
it's exhausting.
When you do the work, then you wake up and you're like, oh, I really get to plan a day today. Like, it's not going to hit the fan every 5 minutes. Like, your life is not so chaotic. There's not people blowing your phone up, dragging you into the middle of the chaos. It's quite refreshing, actually.
And you get the choice. That's probably the biggest thing about early recovery, going from active addiction to early recovery, is you have a choice now. You have a choice to let people bring you down. When you're in active addiction, the drug has a hold of you, period. The whatever that drug is, whatever your drug of choice is, when you're in the middle of active addiction, that drug has you, licked, period. But when you get into recovery, you have a choice to let toxic people into your life. That's your choice. If you can choose to say, nope, not today, and then, like, blow ups or mistakes or just things, life freaking happens. Now you have a clear head, and you can think things through. You can make choices to not make the situation worse. And you come on the other side of something that happened, like your tire blown out or whatever. It's really bad in the moment. It sucks. You have to stand on the side of the road in the pouring rain or whatever and change your tire. But on the other side of it, you're like, man, those are the problems with recovery. Like, I'm doing pretty good. I had a tire to put on my car. Like, I'm good. Or I had the money to get a new tire, or, the problems of recovery. I had to change my tire today, but you know what? I had a freaking tire to put on,
As an addict, you would have rolled around on a donut trying to find a fix.
Yep, exactly. Or help. I know people that would have been like, man, my car's messed up. You want it? I want some drugs. Like,
exactly.
Like, it's just a tire. It's just a tire. But now, now we have the freedom and the choice to say, it's just a tire. It's just
exactly. It's not a relapse. It's just a tire.
It's just a tire.
And we get to be proud of that every day. Every day that you don't relapse, you do get to be proud of that. And that says something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. One day at a time, so, yeah.
I would love to bring you back on sometime to talk about your growing up when you're ready for that. When you're ready to
that'd be cool. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would mind.
I loved it. Did you guys love it? I did. Yes, everybody's cheering you on and everything. We're so proud of you.
Where can I go to see these comments, huh?
There should be right up underneath the video. Look for live chat. Do you see it?
Does it say chat?
Yes, hit that.
Okay. See, this is my first time doing this, y'all. I have no idea.
It's okay. You're going to be back. You're going to be back. Someone said, nice one, Adrienne. My friend Daniel said, loved it. Hold on, baby. Okay, I'll be right back. We're almost done, all right? I love you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes. All right. And this was really, really nice. It was your first Survivor story where we got to see a face. Oh, no, Becca showed
really?
one other time. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people want to stay anonymous because they're still on the run from there.
And hey, listen, that's okay too. Like if there's anybody out there listening that's afraid to show their face, you can ask Dee, like right before the chat, I was like, do I have to turn the camera on or, but you don't have to do that. Like whatever your comfort level is, if you just want audio, just share your story. You don't have to say your name. Like make up a fake name to put on, like just get it out. Like get it out and let people hear it and let people know where you're at today because you could be the one person that stops somebody from doing something that kills themselves today just by talking about it.
It's true. Absolutely. She said she made the toughest hurdle by sharing. Now we can stand with her and support her and love on her. That's right. That's the way the community works too.
Yeah.
And you'll be here on a Saturday when you can make it and be cheering on some other girl that's sharing her story.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I'd love to.
So happy you did it, girl.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. Like I was ready to get that one out.
Good. It is such a release. It's insane.
Yeah.
And you did so good. I'm so proud of you. Like you were strong. I mean, you just know you're a soldier. From that made you.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So
someone said, thank you, Adrienne. I hope that someday I can share my story. I'm more that I can gain that courage. Love you. And then congratulations for all your hard work to make it to the new you. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, guys.
And I love that shirt too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
That's adorable.
I like it. It's like
I see that. I see that.
I love it
a lot. Good luck at your new job on Wednesday too. They are really gaining an asset by getting you as their employee. I mean that.
Oh, thank you. I was really worried like going in because I haven't had a pay stub job in a long time. It's been over a year since I've been in regular hours working. So I was really worried. And this is a factory job. I'm there from 6 to 4:30 every Monday through Thursday, and then Fridays and Saturdays I'm sometimes depending, but overtime is from 6 to 3:30. So I mean they're long hours, and I'm on my feet on concrete all day. So I was worried. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be hard, but I love it. It makes me feel good. Like I've got a purpose again. And I said, you remember working at Sagebrush with me, I had a certain standard working.
And you work hard. I've watched you work, girl. You are like, that military shows in you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the standard that I set for myself at this place already. And I'm like, well, if I have a bad day, I'm in trouble. But again, problems of recovery, That's
right. That's right. The bar so high.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm so proud.
Yep. So I love it. Yeah.
What a wonderful story.
Yeah.
What a wonderful story. It's inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for letting me share.
Anyone can share, girl. I'm just honored that you decided to go ahead and do it. That's really, really hard. And I always worry about somebody wanting to back out the last minute. And so I always give them that option. And I have yet to have somebody back out. So it
That's
gives
awesome.
hope and encouragement. And I'm just so proud of all the ladies that share. And you too, girl. That was intense.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean,
you're here today. Like that could have went so south.
Oh yeah.
Really.
Oh yeah. And I mean, not only south that particular night, but once again, I could have let it kill me in other ways.
Yep. Yep. That's true. Yep. Absolutely. And a lot of people have done that. Someone said to wear compression socks and orthodontics for being on your feet for so long.
Oh yeah. Well, once I get my first paycheck, I'll be able to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be refreshing too.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
and you know,
first time.
I'll tell you another fear that a lot of recovering addicts don't they don't really think about, but it's getting money in your hands.
Yep.
So I've already made the commitment to the people that I live with. Like I have the option of either opening a bank account, which I'm not going to do yet. I'm just not ready for that responsibility. I'm not ready for that to be in my hands. You know, but so instead of that, they're going to give me a little pay card. And I already told the people I'm living with, like, I'm going to hand you this card. The only thing I want off of it is enough money to buy myself some cigarettes. That's all I need. Like, you guys hang on to that for me. Like, I don't want the responsibility of having that money in my hand, you know? So
those are other little, you know, your limitations.
Yep.
Good for you. I'm proud of you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said in another live, like when women get out of prison and they give them like that $40 check that they get when you get out the gate, you get out of prison. And they think that they can handle just as much heroin as they did right before they went in. And they take that $40, they go buy one bag, they use it, and they die the second they get money in their hands because they think their tolerance is the same.
Yep. No, it's not. It's not. You know, and I went to rehab and I learned a lot about a lot that I really had no idea about. And I'm really glad I have that knowledge in my head, but so many people that make that mistake, like your tolerance level that you went into rehab with is not going to be the same coming out. It's going to be a lot lower. And people make that mistake all the time, but I guess that's why me and you are out kind of doing what we're doing. I'm really glad that you're doing what you're doing, you know, because it gives people a chance to come forward, and people a lot of times don't really think they have that option. You know, they think they're stuck in this cycle. So I got to put my phone back up.
It's embarrassing to go to a meeting where you went to high school with everyone. That is
It is. But, you know, here's another little snippet of information for everybody that might be wondering. There are 125,000 AA meetings daily around the world.
Wow.
There are 75,000 NA meetings every day around the world.
Wow,
there are also online meetings that you can go to. Now, and I'm not just, there's more than just NA and AA. There's codependency meetings. There's overeaters recovery. I mean, all kinds of stuff. All you have to do is go online and search, is there a meeting for whatever the problem is? You know, and odds are there's going to be a meeting for you. So if you go on to any of the NA or AA or wherever, you are going to find a meeting near you, or a meeting not near you if you don't want to go to a meeting near you. You know, right. And let me tell you, I know that there's a few addicts, recovering addicts that I've met out there that cannot go to NA or AA because sometimes it gets a little real in there, and it can be a little triggering. However, the support that you find in those meetings is incredible. It's incredible. You will find people that will become family if you don't have a family. You will find people who will text you every day or call you every day just to make sure you're doing okay. You have people that want to give you freedom in recovery, and they know how to give it to you, you know, and if you're scared to go to a meeting, I was scared to go to a meeting once. Go to a meeting, y'all. They're incredible. They really are. You know,
and the same thing can be said for church too. I know I said that church is in the streets and that it doesn't have to be in those four walls, but you know, there is another side of church that you have this community and you're actually around more than one or two people that believe in God at one time. And that can be beneficial too, just by feeling the spirit in the church.
Right. Yeah. So. And you know, while we're on that subject, like I know a lot of people that aren't religious or that share a different religious belief, and you know me, I've always been very open-minded, and I have absolutely no problem with anybody having a difference of opinion. But just so that you aren't scared, if you want to go to a meeting, these meetings are not religious based. It actually said they'll say find a higher power. It doesn't have to be God. It doesn't have to be, you can say nature is your higher power. If
and
nature,
it is sometimes it is.
And yeah, sometimes people in the beginning, sometimes people will say that their meetings are their higher power. I mean, something as simple as that. Just something greater than yourself to talk to open up with. Doesn't have to be another person. It can be nature. It can be the universe. It can be whatever you want it to be. Something bigger than you, that can help you grow. So for those of you that might be scared of going to a meeting because of religious beliefs, don't be scared. Don't be scared. They're very open-minded. And you'll see exactly what I mean. Even just the first 5 readings, you'll see it's not really religious based at all.
I've been to a couple of NA meetings myself, and I always walked away thinking, man, my story's not that bad. You go in there thinking, I'm not going to share because nobody's, this is embarrassing. Nobody's done what I've done to get my drugs. And then you go in there and you hear a couple of stories and you're like, wow, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, so it helps you to get a perspective of how we're all like fighting that fight. And it gets ugly at times.
And you have no idea how many people have been exactly where you've been. Exactly where you've been. Like, I've met so many people that are they're like, oh, you think that's bad? It's incredibly encouraging, and it's incredibly uplifting to hear other people who are willing to talk about things in a meeting like that, because they're all anonymous meetings, so you can't go out and talk about who you saw there. But when you see people there, you can make eye contact with these people, or you don't have to. It's cool. They understand the newcomers. They understand people who aren't really extroverted. If you're an introvert in an AA, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say nothing. You can, but there is incredible value in sitting and listening. Just listening.
I agree. So, because you get the tools that you might not have that somebody else had, and you're like, why didn't I think of that? Like, that will help me so much. And so it's great to feed off of other people's even here on these survivor stories. Like, it's really good to figure out how it worked for somebody else, and to see somebody else thriving helps.
Right. And to try something new and get out of your comfort zone. It's scary. It's terrifying. It gets your heart beating in your chest. But from personal experience, what I was doing before wasn't working. So I had to do something new. I had to do something new.
Right.
I'm
so proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Adrienne, thank you so very much. Stardust said, for your story. I hope your life is going to be wonderful for sure. Deserve a blessing after all the pain you endured.
Thank you.
And then my friend said, start putting a percentage in a Roth IRA or company 401k if it's offered. It will patch you over and over for your future.
Well, and the other good thing about this company that I'm working for is, after a 90-day probational period, I get hired on as permanent, and I get benefits. Now, this is going to be the first job I've ever had with benefits.
Yay.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I'm so proud of you. And every day you work that long job, it gets you one step closer to your daughter, one step closer. Every hour you're standing there, it gets you one step closer. And so I'm pulling for you, girl. I'm your biggest cheerleader. Don't you worry.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
We're bringing it back. You are very inspiring. We can all learn a lot from just where you are, stating that you're not done with your story. You haven't wrote your story. You're not done writing it.
Right. Yeah. And one of my absolute favorite speakers, when I was in rehab, a guy came and spoke, and he says, it was kind of one of my aha moments, you get those from time to time. He says, I hear people, they got a lot of shame and they got a lot of guilt. He says, that was one chapter in your book. You got a whole damn book to write. Right.
Yep. Exactly. And that was chapter 1. That isn't even close to the end.
Right.
So,
right.
That's awesome. So proud of you, girl. Thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome.
Anything else you wanted to say before you go?
No, I mean, I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to. Just if anybody out there is afraid to share, just you know, do it, do it. It'll help you, and it'll help somebody else. You know.
That's so awesome. And everyone's saying the same thing. So you got to believe it now. I've had like 7 people on here that says sharing helps.
Yeah.
So it's not a gimmick, I promise.
Yeah.
And
No, it's
reach out
not.
to you guys and let me know if you want to share next Saturday. And we will have you on very soon. You let us know when you're ready, love.
Alrighty. I love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. End broadcast. Okay.